and welcome back to Transposition Sports. I'm Carly Chardonnay-Webb. Our feature interview tonight, her name is Héloïse Haenel. She's a 26-year-old football player, now coach, and now manager in the Philippines. She's a kid that had big league dreams as young as she was 12. But when she transitioned a few years ago, she thought that football would be over. But she refused to quit. She kept at it, and kept at it. And when they told her she couldn't play, she said, "Want to bet?" and started her own club. We sat down with her on Wednesday. Here's her story. What is it about this sport that drew you to it?
I loved that football is welcome to everyone of every size. My father used to make me want to try to play basketball. I was just too short. It's just not happening. But football, everyone of different size, different shape. The girls were playing it. It was just such a welcoming sport.
Every superhero needs an origin story. So how did you get here? What built you? What got you here? And what were some of the things that you went through along the way to get here?
It's been a long 13 years. So I started football when I was 13, I'm 26 now. And before that, I was just a little nerdy kid. I loved math. I was very much into science, reading, things like that. I've never played a sport. But one day for phys ed, I scored a goal with a really awful kick, and everyone cheered me on for the first time. And that was the gateway drug into football. The praise, the teamwork, the joy, and the fact that I could be good at this. As someone who's never been good at sports, that meant so much to me. I actually made my high school varsity team. Obviously, back then it was pre-transition, so I was in the men's varsity team. And then I moved to Minnesota at the age of 16. I played a little bit of football there. It was a little more expensive, so I had to find some friends, but I was always playing and playing. It was just in my blood, and I played a little bit for my community college. And then I went back to the Philippines at the age of 20. Still playing football, but it became more of like a casual recreational thing. I was okay at it. But then when I moved out of my home, I transitioned in 2023. And one of the first things that I considered was, oh no, if I am really a woman, I cannot play football ever again. Right? It's not safe here. There's no anti-discrimination laws. And then all the boys, I have to tell them that, I'm a girl now. So actually I stopped playing football for about 6 to 8 months. And then this was the year when the Philippine women's national team played in the World Cup for the first time. And they were amazing. Seeing brown women like me scoring goals, women that look like me, women that come from where I am. It was just too good that I had to be like, no, I'm not going to stop. These women can do it, I can do it. I joined a women's training place for the first time in 2024. I was like, hey, I was just gonna bring my fiance. I was like, hey, baby, you want to play soccer with me? There's this women's one, it's really chill. And I joined, they welcomed me, they were so nice. And I was apparently good enough that the coach told one of their players to be like, hey, talk to her, invite her to her team. She has to play with us, right? Then they invited me, and I messaged the coach, told them, hey, I'm transgender. I'm under HRT for around a year and a half or 2 years now. These are my eligibility documents. I just took a chance, right? It's like, what if, right? I've been surprised. And his team was very welcoming. The coach really worked hard to welcome me. And a few months later, I got my first debut in a women's league, a recreational league. And then I scored a goal in my debut. And it was the most amazing feeling, just being around all women and to be just another girl in the team. That was like a dream come true. And since then, I've played in more in the league. I played in other tournaments, and I actually got to be flown to London as part of the AIA Philippine women's team, not the national team, just a recreational thing. But I passed the tryout. I got to be part of the team, and I played in London. That was like the peak of it. That was last year's. It's really amazing. And yeah, since then I've been trying to find a semi-pro club. I've tried out at a couple clubs, but this is when the story changes.
With that in mind, complete this sentence.
Yeah.
Being trans in the Philippines is blank.
Being trans in the Philippines is awful. It's, maybe I'm in a cynical time when I answer this question, but it's awful. It's dangerous, it sucks, and it's scary. I'm a pretty level-headed woman. I work in mental health. I am suffering. I have a lot of things to do to keep myself mentally well, but just existing, it is really if it wasn't so fun to be a woman and like if it wasn't like just my truth, I would quit. And I haven't like considered detransitioning ever, but like this week, um, this is one of the few moments where I'm like, maybe I should just grow my hair out again and like not tell anyone I'm trans. Maybe I'm just tired, but yeah, being trans in the Philippines, it's there are moments that are like beautiful. That's what makes it worth it, but it's not for the weak.
One thing, I did read your Instagram,
Yeah.
and weaponized transphobia in women's sports
Mm.
is anti-feminist, and why yesterday matters. Okay, what went down?
What went
Give
down?
me the
Yeah.
backstory on this. What ugliness went down that led to
Let,
that post?
okay. Let me tell you all about it. But first off, I'm not going to name anyone and I've chosen to do that. I would love to. I would. Oh my days. Do you know if you've seen how many times I've had an argument in my shower like we do and won it? That would show that. But um I'm I'm going to tell you about what happened is this is the second time it's happened, which is kind of scary. I've been playing in women's sports for 2 years, no problem. The worst thing I've ever got then was just someone being like, "Hey, are you trans?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And and then we just play. Nothing. And it wasn't even aggressive, right? But maybe it was a week ago now. I am in my team is in a women's tournament. I have been eligible from the first season. I'm in contact with organizers. The organizer knows me. I have documents available. There's no problem. And I didn't play. I haven't played since the first season. I'm letting my players play, right? But season three, my main defender, she got sick, right? And I didn't want to play. I wanted to let the girls win, right? But I I showed up in my dress. I was like, they were like, why aren't you playing? I'm like, no, this is your guys' game, right? But it was starting to be clear that like my team needs me because we have players that are in high school. We have a 16-year-old player. We have beginners. We have some more experienced players, but the team could really use me. They were telling me like, come on, play, just help us, and it was a beginners tournament, and I told everyone, I'm not going to score. I'm just here to help. I'm just going to distribute the ball. I'm not here to dominate the sport. That doesn't do anything for me. So I suited up. My team was so happy. Yay, Coach Ellie's going to play. We have the game I was going to play in was against this team, which I will not name. And this team has, well, now that we know, is a problem with me. Right, but I didn't know. So I suited up, I got on the pitch, I played at center back, just defending. Um, and after 5 minutes, I mean, nothing happened. I took a free kick, I passed the ball, I stood there. It's just there to help the defense, and I went to sub myself out just to let the other girls play. And the organizer was there in our technical part of the field. I was like, hey, um, an organizer says like, hey, he was like so like embarrassed and confused and also like overwhelmed. It's like, hey, one of the teams, well, this team are threatening, the owner and the coach is threatening to pull out and not pay for their two teams if you keep playing. And
What?
I was like, yeah, it's insane. They were gonna forfeit the game. No, they had already forfeited the game we were playing because I played for 5 minutes and I passed the ball 2 times, right? But that was right. And I was like, oh, what do you mean? I was so confused, right? And um, turns out they had confronted the organizer, just him, two of them, and pressured them financially, right? And the organizer, he tells me, you know what, I have no problem with you playing, but they are forfeiting this game. And it's in the middle of a tournament, mind you. There's other teams here. And this is what happened the last time in the middle of a tournament. And we were just in the group stages, right? So I was like, what the hell? We finished the game. It was the draw. And since then I was just like shocked.
This is the first time I've been able to cry since I came home last night. And it just feels like 1% of how much I really feel about this. This hurts so much. It hurts here. It hurts my heart.
How frustrating is that? You just want to
It's
play.
yeah.
You've been upfront and above board for everything, and I'm pretty sure you're hearing about all the things that are going on, not just where you are, but around the world right now, in regards to this issue. How frustrating is that? At the end of the day, your team wants you to play, you want to play, but
Yeah.
someone has an issue.
Yeah. It's, you know what? I hate the fact that I could tell that she didn't believe that she was pulling, right? If they knew, no, oh my God, this person supported me for transphobia. They've commented on posts where I talked about transphobia that happened to me in sports, and they know apparently they agree. But the thing that really frustrates me is that like everyone knows the trans athlete debate is bullshit, right? Like people are like, oh, it's not a debate. Trans athletes have been in the Olympics since 2003. It isn't until recently, that things have changed, right? Trans and post I said transphobia is the trend. Being trans is not. In our team, babaylan is a term from like ancient Filipino history where like shamans and healers were women and what seems to be trans women. Like this is in our history, so this is nothing new.
Babaylan Football Club. What made you want to start it? What made you say I need my own team then?
Well, that's exactly it. After this is a different thing. This is a very feminist thing. Is I've tried out for a couple teams, different ones, some like higher level ones, and I'm not going to name them because that will not serve me. But I saw how women were treated in these spaces. I saw coaches inappropriately yelling and like even touching players, and this was just normalized in this space. And I saw how, as a healer, I see how people are feeling, right? And these women don't feel safe in these spaces. And these are such good players. I saw one of the most amazing players I've seen in person get excluded because she had some attitude. But she doesn't even speak English, so I don't know how she has attitude. But because this person, the coach, didn't have the maturity, they lost a whole player. I said, like, if I'm going to play football here, this is not the level I want to play in, right? You see people in the NWSL or the Barclays Women's League or just in other countries, they treat their women well and they play amazing, right? And I'm like, we need The Philippines deserves someone that treats our amazing players well, and they will do amazing. That's the whole motto with my coaching and healing, is that if you have a safe and encouraging environment, you will maximize your potential, right? Whether that's in your work or in your football. And that's what I just see is there's so many good players, there's so many kind players, and they're just being discarded. There's so much emotional immaturity. And so I started a women's team for that, right? Is it's for the girls to have what they deserve and even better. Yeah.
Want to talk about some of the things that are in the landscape.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the anti-trans hysteria that you're seeing in sports? You've
Yeah.
probably heard of some of the things here in the United States, but also in Asia.
Yeah.
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
you literally had players thrown out. You had literally players who were told, you don't look female enough to play in our tournament.
Right.
I.e., the two volleyball players from Vietnam who were thrown out of a world
Mm.
championship tournament. One of the best young players in the world basically saying, I'd rather not play than have to face the sex
Yeah.
testing nonsense.
Yeah.
How does that land for you, not just as an athlete, but an athlete from a nation that's considered in the quote unquote global south, where a lot of these
Right.
rules land on?
Yeah.
How's that land for you?
Yeah. It's horrifying, right? Because here, I said this in my post. We do not look how transphobes want us to look, right? Southeast Asian women, we can be dark skinned, we can have masculine features, we can be bigger, we can have body hair, things like that. And so if we welcome this thing, transphobia, into this space, no one's gonna win. Not just trans or mass people, but like most people. And but it's also like the simple thing is like, are we having fun? Is this fun? The sex testing stuff? Does anyone really feel safer? Like this team, if they knew their coach did this to me, do they feel safer as women? No. I think they would feel safer with me on the team. Like, because I treat people equally. So,
How important was that for you to build that kind of culture within the team that you built?
yeah. It's the most important thing. I think like safety is the most important thing before you have fun. You have seatbelts, you have safety, and like real safety that includes everyone, not just skinny, white, Eurocentric looking girls, but every girl on your team. If you look at our team, we have everyone is welcome. I like literally like if you want to play with us, you can play, right? And I don't I literally just see, okay, are you a number 6? Are you number 8? I don't think, oh, are you pretty? Are you masked? Are you femme? Like, we don't do that. And you can see, I love this because if you see our players play, they are joking on the sidelines. They are like talking to the team. They're doing team talks together. And we have 4 trophies, and we got third place in the Champions League. And it's just from that kind of environment. We've only played like 4 or 5 times together, and we're already doing this. So it's very clear. Transphobia does not make for a good football team.
You're a healer,
Mhm.
in addition to being a player and being a coach. Now, first, how does football influence what you do as a person who's into holistic mental health, into healing? How does football influence that?
Yeah. I mean, football is just another way of life, where all these things that I've learned are flowing through. Football is all about your self-worth. It's all about how you feel about yourself. It's all about your beliefs. And for me, I worked so hard in therapy and in my own coaching with myself to grow as a person. I grew up in the worst environment. I grew up poor, malnourished, and abused. And I worked so hard that I can play good football. But I wasn't born like that. I was like pretty awful. I mean, not awful. I was just so scared. And I worked so hard on myself that now I can play. If you see me play, I play freely. I play calmly. As someone that has CPTSD, as someone that has autism, and that for me is so important because if I can do that with like healing, with good healing, then anyone can do it. And that's why I started a team too, and that's why I play. I'm very open about my identity, and it's not for me, it's for everyone that's like me. But even then, anyone that's not like me can take something from it. But yeah,
Now, I'm going to flip that question now.
sure.
How does the healing that you've done, first, why was it important for you after transition to get back on that pitch?
Yeah.
What was the greater value for you to do that?
Mm-hmm. No, it's because of women like me, right? If you see our Philippine women's national team, it's so beautifully diverse. There's people that are half Filipino, there are people that are, born here, and there are masked women and femme women. It's so wonderful. And I was just like, oh my God, I have to join this. I'm missing out. And, there's masked women here, there's queer women. We can do it, right? And it was really important for me to do that because I know, well, I love football. It was important for my inner child. I was like, I don't think I could be trans without being a football player. Like that's yeah, that's part of my identity as much as being, or maybe even more. I'm more of a football player than I am trans.
Interesting you talk about that because you see,
Mhm.
we have a thing about this show is that
Mm.
on this show, we show highlights and we
Yeah,
show yours. So,
right.
what was it like to win that? First off, to win your first trophy, but
Mm.
also to win it with your fiance on the
Yeah.
field playing.
Yeah.
Percy was
No.
on the field. Talk about that
Hmm.
as a coach. To
Yeah.
see
In,
your heart's on the field with you, your team is out there getting it done. What was it like to win that first trophy?
yeah, that is why that one like really started everything for us. And there's Perry right there, my fiance. They've only started playing football. They feel a lot of pressure because their fiance is really good. But look at her, there she is. Yeah, everyone was just happy and it was safe. She rarely tries new things. She's also autistic like me, but she felt safe in our space to play. And all these players, look at us. We were doing good plays from open play. And I wasn't playing. And we got our first trophy and look how happy everyone is. And it's truly, they are truly happy. Like, I don't think there's anything they can complain about. Yeah.
I'm just seeing just the sparkle in your eye seeing that. Even with all the noise
Yeah.
and the controversy that you talked about, with how affirming has this entire experience been for you in a positive sense?
Hmm.
Just getting back
Yeah.
out on the pitch, being in the game as a coach and as a player. How has
Hmm.
that added to your process and your move forward as a woman?
Absolutely. That's such a good question. Like, me being able to play sports as a woman made a giant leap in my sense of confidence and like healed a lot of anxiety for me. I used to, if you see videos of me when I was first playing, I was like small and like hunched over, and I was shy and a bit scared. And now I'm coaching, and I stand brightly, and I genuinely feel like that. After 2 years of being welcomed, I don't even have to be winning or to be praised, but just the dinners after football with all the other girls. It's what I talk about with my fiance. It's not like, oh, I scored some crazy goals. It's more like it was so nice. I was just there with the other girls and we all played football and we shared this experience. And that's so healing for me. And I'm sure it's going to be so healing for other trans women too, is to just be included, not even like platformed, but like just included.
20 years from now,
Mm.
World Cup 2045.
Yeah.
Philippines national team, United States in the championship game.
Yeah.
And one player who among the Philippine national team,
Mm.
Filipina being interviewed day before the game, says, I'm here because Heloise believed in me first.
Mm.
How would that make you feel? And is that an epitaph that you want going forward?
Mm. Yeah, I would cry. That was so great. If people could take this space and build off of it, it's I mean, we could play amazing football because of the safety, but also like, yeah, I really believe that that could happen, right? We have so many like Filipinas to go to other countries and they shine. And it's because of their environment, right? And it's simple. Is if we have the same, and it doesn't cost anything to not be transphobic, right? There's free resources there. It's we can do this, right? But yeah, that would be everything for me. Is if we as Filipinas get up to that stage and we have defeated this what we call our shadow, um, then we'll have done it. I'll have done my purpose here on earth.